Yo, 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 what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the microphone messiah, Phillip Antoine. I'm joined by the Canadian destroyer, BT, Brandon Tanguma. We are here to recap Money in the Bank 2024. A very eventful show, to say the least. A lot of things happened. We're going to get into it all. BT, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Yeah, it could be a little bit better. We have to recap a PLE from Canada, but it was an okay show.
Well, I mean, the one of the biggest stars in the industry was praising Canada at the show, so I think Canada's the spot.
I will say there was no indulgent, sing-songy chants at this show like there was in those past European shows. So I'll say something nice about Canada for once.
There you go. There you go. All right. First matchup of the show was the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, LA Knight, Jey Uso, uh, Drew McIntyre, and am I missing somebody else?
Mr. Chad Gable.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Chad Gable did an interview on Cheap Heat a couple weeks ago. Go check that out. Yeah. So all these men are buying for an opportunity to become Mr. Money in the Bank. Obviously, you win the contract for up to a year. You can cash in to become the world champion. Um, Good stuff. There was some flippy stuff. The ending, the way they're doing the false finish in the ladder match, I really liked that. Jey Uso, they have the zoom in on him. Looks like he's about to unhook it. Then they go to the wide shot. Drew McIntyre just throws a ladder in his face and unhooks it, and Drew McIntyre wins. He is Mr. Money in the Bank. What are your thoughts on the match?
I thought it was a solid match. Nothing too crazy. I mean, we got much more crazy spots in the women's ladder match. So outside of Andrade and Carmelo, who apparently had like an agreement between themselves to let's just go out there and kill each other since we're not going to win this match. Um, it was a relatively standard Money in the Bank ladder match for the men. So, Drew wasn't a surprise that he won. I think there were some other people that we thought could have won, like Jay, maybe LA Knight. But once Drew won it, and as I said, the match being before the heavyweight title, you kind of had your antennas up that something was going to happen.
Absolutely. I thought they were gonna go with Jey Uso. Just the marketer in me, I guess. How many Yeet in the Bank briefcases you could have sold. You could have made a massive amount of money, but nonetheless, they went the other route. What was the second match on the card?
That would be the Intercontinental title match. Sami Zayn defending against Braun Breaker. This one goes 13 minutes, 15 seconds, and Sami gets the win. A lot of people thought maybe this was Braun Breaker's time. He'd win, get his first title, keep his undefeated streak alive. But no, Sammy wins with kind of a kick blocking the spear, and then he hits a haluva kick for the win. A little bit anticlimactic, kind of an out of nowhere finish. But I wasn't opposed to Sammy winning. So, and it looks like we will be getting this maybe at SummerSlam. Spoiler alert.
Could be a rematch going down the line at SummerSlam, yes. But Sami Zayn, the underdog from the underground, when people think he can't do it, he finds a way to get it done. Obviously defeating Gunther, ending that run, and then going on to hand Braun Breaker's first defeat on the main roster. So congratulations to Samuel Zayn in retaining the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had high expectations for this match, and maybe they were too high because I would say this match was a little bit of a disappointment. But the ending was kind of out of nowhere. I thought they could have maybe hit a little bit better for a crescendo, but it was it was a decent match. And as I said, if they're gonna do it again, maybe they're gonna say some tricks up their sleeve for the rematch. But Sammy gets the win. I'm not opposed to it, but I know the internet's not everyone, but I do like how every time, someone wins that other people don't approve of, like, Sammy winning because everyone thinks, now Braun Breaker's buried. Even though it's just last year in Montreal when everyone was saying, oh, Sammy needs to win, you know, beat Roman Reigns for the title. And then now, what is it, like 10 or 16 months later, people are calling him Sammy Hogan because he doesn't put over the young talent, apparently. That's
Who's
just the internet.
who's out here saying that?
It's just the internet and Twitter X just force feeds me just all these different wrestling accounts and it's like, oh, they start complaining. It's
Wow, Twitter.
basically if anyone if someone loses, then they're burying the talent, which is not the case. People can lose and they can come back.
Yeah, Twitter force feeds me other things. Anyway, moving on. What was next?
Well, Trish Stratus was just randomly the host of of Money in the Bank.
It's
They,
not
I
random.
mean,
It's Toronto.
it was random in the fact they announced it like Thursday or like in the middle of the week, not on a Raw or a SmackDown. It was just like, oh yeah, Trish Stratus is
This
gonna
is
be on the show, guys. And then she came out for the pre-show and she did some other things. And last time we saw her, she was a heel, but I guess that doesn't really matter
well, the
anymore.
last time you and I saw her, she was signing autographs.
And declined an interview because
What?
her
We didn't talk to her people. We talked to Lita's people. It was
they're one and the same, they're besties. But
of course.
Trish Stratus comes out and she introduces or she runs down her career and then she says, "Oh, I used to tag team with this guy." No one knew who the hell she was talking about, and it ended up being John Cena.
Surprise, duh.
There was people. There was at least I saw one photo of John Cena taking a photo with the fan in Toronto. So there was news that he was in town, and he comes out. He has a t-shirt on that like he normally does, and he announces his retirement. And he very clunkily made it sound like he was retiring there, but his t-shirt said like farewell tour 2025. So obviously he wasn't going to retire in 2024. And obviously the dogs are very excited or very sad that John Cena's retiring, but he's doing
Yes.
a retirement tour next year and also clunkily made it seem like he was retiring at WrestleMania, but in the press conference he later clarified no, it's an entire full year tour.
Yes, yes, he announced that in Canada. Canada, the fans up there, they never disappoint. You should learn to love that, Brandon. You really should. John Cena comes out there, holds up a towel that says, what the last time is now, and then on the back of the t-shirt it has a door, and then after this you can't see me. He has announced that in 2025 he will go on a retirement tour. He announced later at the press conference to kind of clear up he will be doing between 30 to 40 dates throughout the year. He talked about why doing it at Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank has a special place in his career. Obviously, he won Money in the Bank once before, but of course the match with CM Punk in 2011 in Chicago. Yeah, he says, he's never been a part of Raw on Netflix. He's going to be there. And the Royal Rumble will be his last Royal Rumble. Elimination Chamber will be his last Elimination Chamber. And WrestleMania 25 or WrestleMania in 2025 in Las Vegas, WrestleMania 41 will be his last WrestleMania. Yeah, this is news, man. I mean, you kind of wondered when it was going to happen. I mean, we luckily got to see Cena at that. Were you with me at that SmackDown? No, you weren't.
No idea what you're talking about.
No, you were with me at the Collision. I'm sorry. It was the skyboxes. They all run together. Yeah, no, I mean, luckily I saw Cena at a SmackDown in SAC after the showing off the area wrestled Dominic Mysterio. So I thought that was the last time I was gonna see him live wrestle, but it looks like I'm gonna have more opportunities. Yes, Cena's gonna go on a retirement run next year. Will he win the Royal Rumble? Don't know. Will he possibly win a 17th World Championship? We don't know. Maybe we'll sit down and do a special so what do you want to talk about? And we book the final year of John Cena's career. Maybe we'll do something like that. But it is coming to an end. The time is running out for Big Match John. I mean, it's time as he's getting older and whatnot. I mean, the matches that he can have. I mean, obviously there's Cody Rhodes. Punk said he wants one more match with John Cena. You can obviously do Punk, not Punk. I'm sorry, Cena and Orton again. I think he still has unfinished business with the Bloodline, and I'd love to see Fatu mix it up with John Cena. I think that would be something special. So we have a lot to look forward to in the coming year with Big Match John, and then everything else the company will be doing.
Yeah, it wasn't really a surprise. He announced the retirement. He did a interview with Pat McAfee the day after WrestleMania, and he was basically insinuating that it was coming up. He said he doesn't want to wrestle, past 50. And I think he's like 47 now, 46, 47. So it was basically saying, yeah, he's going to be done sooner rather than later. So him announcing this full tour wasn't exactly a shock. And Triple H even said, like, once we kind of figured this out, we didn't want it to get out. So maybe they just kind of figured he has a little bit of time or he has an opening to announce it. So let's just put him on Money in the Bank and he can do it there. It's interesting because the last what like three Cena runs, the solo match, the Austin Theory match, and then like the Baron Corbin WrestleMania match weren't very intriguing. It felt like Cena was kind of going through the motions. It wasn't all that enthralling TV. So maybe we get some like motivated Cena. We can actually get some decent stuff in the 2025. And
Oh
I
yeah, I
I'm
mean.
I'm holding out hope we'll get some motivated Cena.
I don't think all of them will be matches. You know, there'll be appearances and whatnot. You think we get thrice in a lifetime?
Probably not. I mean, we did get the stare down. We got the thing at WrestleMania. I would assume, maybe we do something else because The Rock is probably going to be around next year, maybe even towards the end of this year. But
Yes, we get another behind the curtain. We'll talk about that once we get to the regular episode. But after Cena announces his retirement, what took place? The men's world title match.
yes, which I thought should have been the main event, and after everything transpired, I still believe should have been the main event.
No, you know how it is. Bloodline stays main event, and baby, no matter what incarnation, it is the men's world title match: Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest for the world heavyweight title. If Rollins loses, he cannot have another shot while Priest is champion, and if Priest loses, he has to leave the Judgment Day. They're going back and forth, curb stomp. There was a miscue. I think the music was supposed to hit, but maybe the ref saw an inch kick out that we didn't see. Nonetheless, Drew McIntyre comes out there to cash in Money in the Bank. He's cashed it in. They're going for it. CM Punk, as we all should suspect, would make an appearance, come out there, hit Drew with the title, cost him the championship. South of Heaven chokeslam. Drew McIntyre is pinned in the match where he cashed in on to make it an impromptu triple threat. Damian Priest retains the World Heavyweight Championship. And not only is Drew McIntyre pissed, Seth Rollins is absolutely livid that Punk got in his business yet again.
Storyline wise, the match did its job. I think in ring wise, I thought the one on one stuff with Seth and was Priest was like okay. They were telling like a weird story with the announcers of like saying how Rollins is over the hill and how he's changing everything up and how he is on the decline basically, which like might be true, but I don't know why they would say that. I didn't feel like that was really necessary, but yeah, after the botched kick out where I mean, it seemed as though Priest was just supposed to kick out and he didn't. And I thought maybe he was like hurt or something. So that kind of took me out of the match for a little bit because like that was such a simple move that you would think Priest would have kicked out and he was like kind of twitching a little bit and it was something, seems like Priest was fine. He was on Raw the next day, but I think the match did kind of go downhill a little bit after that. And then, Punk comes out, he attacks Drew and all the other stuff that takes place. And, you know, fans are still cheering Punk and kind of booing Drew, but it does feel a little bit like, okay, Punk, we get it. You're salty. And they, we'll talk about it, as you said, on Monday with the showdown with Punk and Rollins, but they kind of talked a little bit about that as well. But the Punk Rollins feud, got put on the back burner because of the Punk injury, but it got brought to the forefront a little bit, and it did kind of remind me like, oh yeah, these two guys could have done something probably pretty special at WrestleMania if Punk didn't get hurt.
Yeah, well, they have bad blood. It's if only there was a pay-per-view coming up in a few months that was entitled Bad Blood that maybe these two men could compete at once Punk is done with Drew McIntyre.
Possibly, but they don't hold any pay-per-views in America anymore. They're all just international or stadium shows, right?
I there are rumblings. It's booming Metro style that Bad Blood may be in Atlanta, Georgia
Mm,
in
okay.
October. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match happened. Was it Laya Valkyria, Zoe Stark, Chelsea Green, Tiffany Stratton, what Naomi was in it, and then who else was in this?
And EO.
Yes, the Genius of the Sky. Crazy spots, crazy spots. I mean the ladder split thing with Naomi was cool, but Zoe Stark just taking what like Michinoku drivers onto ladders and tried to do that thing in the corner that didn't really work out, and then Chelsea Green, the MVP of this whole show. God damn. She and Tiffany set up the tables outside. I kind of forgot about them, and then you see like, oh my god, is Chelsea really about to do this? They did the zoom in falsy again, and then Tiffany comes and knocks her off, and hell of a hell of a bump through those tables onto the floor like that. She the real MVP it is.
Shout out Jordan Grace who completely spoiled that spot because she did it in TNA, and Jordan was like, "Oh, it'd be cool if Chelsea did this," or like whatever, reminding that Chelsea did this in the ladder match. So a little interesting that Chelsea went back in her bag of tricks and did that again.
I
But
I think it looked better. I mean, like I think the ladder was higher in this one than it was over in TNA.
it was a very clean, straight flat back, landed like in the middle of both tables. There's some fan cam footage of like someone in the front row right next to the table. So there's all these different angles, and even like the photo of her like just falling and kind of above the ring. I mean, it was the beginning of this match was very rough. There was like a lot of just miscommunication. You know, you said that the Zoe tried to do the whatever corkscrew flippy do thing in the corner, just absolutely fucking bounced her head off the ladder. And it was really rough at the beginning. I was like, oh God, this is gonna be a disaster. And they started doing the more dangerous stuff, and they actually were hitting them cleanly, which maybe kind of added to the drama of it because you saw them mess up things earlier, and it was like, oh God, they're trying to do a Michinoku driver on a whatever bridge ladder. How are they going to pull that off? And they did it. So, congrats to the women over there. And it kind of the messiness in the beginning, I think, helped the match at the end of the day. But I don't think that what was their plan. But I thought they pulled it off quite nicely. And Tiffany winning seemed like the obvious decision. And it's a Money in the Bank is a heel gimmick, and with Tiffany, I think it fits her beautifully, and it seems as though
It's
she's gonna spruce it up a little bit.
it's Tiffy time. She said it on Chris Van Vliet. She wants a pink briefcase with rhinestones. Y'all not ready for this. And then she has an alliance with the Queen of the Ring, Nia Jax. Come on now. Come on now. Bailey. I know you from the Bay. That's hometown love, but it's not looking good. I mean, if you somehow get past Nia, Tiffany gonna be ready to go with that briefcase, yes, sir. And now the main event, the Bloodline. Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu, and Solo Sikoa, accompanied by Tonga Loa, go up against Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and the undisputed WWE champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Nice 6-man action. Lot of stuff in here. Kevin Owens and Fatu not taking their eyes off of each other. Yeah, this is. I mean, it was good stuff. I mean, the rope hung DDT. Jake, lets the damage be known, but then pops up, does his usual. Yeah, come on. Back body dropped over by the doctor. His leg clipped the doctor. If you've seen that slow mo footage, hope that lady's okay. Um, yeah. Tonga Loa with the low blow that happened. People just eating RKO's, and then when it looked like it was going to be over for Solo with the crossroads, Jake popping out the whisper in the wind, boom, Jake picking up Cody Solo to hit that Samoan spike, and Solo Sikoa pinned the WWE champion.
It was a solid 6-man tag match. The crowd was hot for it. I think they were more into like booing Solo than kind of anything else, which is a good thing. Solo's got heat, and it seems as though it's going to be Solo and Cody at SummerSlam, but with no return of Roman or Paul Heyman, which I did not expect. But you put it in the main event, I think people maybe think that's the case, that something's going to happen at the end of the show, but it didn't. I think you could have slotted this, just completely flip it with the world title match, put the world title in the main event. But that being said, I thought they did a decent job. Telling there's every person in the match had their own thing. Tama kind of the worker, kind of taking a lot of the heat and wrestling, when Fatu and Solo kind of the menacing guys. And yeah, I mean, it was a perfectly fine 6-man tag match. And shout out Tongaloa, who messed up on that low blow, and then he punched Tama Tonga right in the face in the second try. But he might have been concussed because he had bounced head off the commentary table like 5 minutes before that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do the reach, and then a lot goes into delivering.
People aren't talking like KO did take like a half a step right before Tongaloa went to go hit him.
Yeah, he was lined up, and then KO moved out the way. So let's calm down. Let's calm down. A lot goes into delivering low blows, guys. A lot. You have to angle it right and everything. What is your grade for Money in the Bank 2024?
I thought it was I give it like a B. It was decent. The wrestling was good. Once again, a lot of commercials, a lot of video packages, and I forget what, there's someone out there who puts a timer out there. This was an over 3 hour show, like 3:15, and I think they're like 90 minutes worth of wrestling. We discuss AEW and how they go on forever, but then they have no breathing room. So I think there's some sort of middle ground where we can have like a 3 hour show with like 2 hours of wrestling. But it was enjoyable for what it was.
There you go. You love to see it. I'll give it a B also. We will be back Thursday with another episode of the Bullet Cast, ladies and gentlemen. I got an interview dropping this week that I did 2 months ago and didn't release it. So look forward to that. Thank you guys so much. As always, be safe and stay dangerous. Yes, sir.